Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast on February 1st, a chilly Sunday here in Alabama. I'm Coach Coons along with Coach Cart and Coach Porter. And we've been a little bit out here talking about the weather prior, watching some Twitter feeds of some baseball games in the driving snowstorm. People trying to get games in, but Coach Cart has an interesting subject tonight, and Coach, why don't you get it started, and then we'll all chime in on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this would kind of came up a little bit this week, and so I think everyone is a little stir crazy with the winter weather, staying inside, and so I think it's really important as younger players, as they go from even 8 years old all the way up through freshman, sophomore in high school, to understand where should the balance be between even from a coaching perspective, between winning baseball games, winning and the development, right? I mean, there's a lot of cases out there that talk about pitch smart, and what is on Major League Baseball's website is recommended arm care programs. And so I think that's a big topic right now. And I think that there's a lot of pitching guys out there that have 8-year-olds developing curveballs and things like that. And so really, where's the balance at? I mean, I know Coach Porter has been deeply immersed in trying to actively manage this. And so I'd love to get everyone's thoughts on that, just because I think it's a real thing right now. I think and people are looking for guidance. They're looking for advice when it comes to really that topic.
Go ahead, Coach Porter. Give us your take.
So I think okay, this is going to sound weird, but the development piece never goes away. And I think the pressure to win goes up as you go up in age. Okay. Right. So that's kind of my take on it. I also think that there has to be a balance with the winning piece, because, winning's fun. Kids want to have fun winning. Right. I don't believe that there's the winning at all costs stuff with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds is, because listen, at the end of the day, you go into a tournament in Indiana for a weekend and you win. You get a couple Cracker Jack box rings and you leave. What's the significance of winning that tournament? Okay. It's all relative to the situation. So, like, for example, if I'm a coach and I have a 10U team and we're in Indiana playing in a tournament, and no specific, I just use an Indiana, it could be West Virginia, Ohio, Florida, wherever. And I know that I have no pitchers left. There aren't any rules. Am I gonna roll the dice on a kid and try to win a ball game and hurt a kid? No. And tell him that it's important and all this stuff? No. I think a good coach tries to find another direction to win and teaches them about, listen, regardless of this, we still have to catch the baseball. We still have to get runners on base. We still have to do this. We still have to play with energy. We have to still support our teammates. We still have to play hard. The guy on the mound, no matter who it is, that 9 versus 1 mentality, right? I think that's a better teaching tool for winning than some of the stuff we see going on right now. Do I think that the thermometer for winning goes up with age? Sure. I think when it starts to get to varsity baseball, it goes a little bit. I think once it gets to, obviously college, it goes up, right? I mean, let's face it, recruiters are going to go see good teams play in the summer. Does a guy go to a PBR event and be like, man, I'm gonna recruit based on who wins this game? Exactly. They're both good teams. Now, you also don't want to develop a losing mentality either. There's a fine line. You don't want kids to get complacent with losing either, right? Because as a recruiter, as a coach, I really believe winning, putting yourself around winners, get you a winning, program. So there's a big balance, right? Um, and I think there's different ways though. You have to teach kids different ways to win. You have to give kids that toolbox and know that, listen, like, we have to go get another tool today because our team's not, doing well, right? I just listen, I you don't, people don't know what they don't know. There's a lot of good-hearted people maybe pushing kids too far. I believe that just don't know. I also believe that there's blatant abuse. Yeah, that happens at every level of the game and in every aspect of life, right? But some of the stuff we're seeing's absurd in amateur baseball, and that's just all there is to it.
I remember when back when I was young, and we had a travel team, or we had a travel league, and we had 8 teams in our organization. Our younger players, the pitchers, were there to develop. It wasn't so much to win or lose; it was to develop, understand the game, learn the game. Then, as they got older, then we took the reins off a little bit to let them go. I was always, as a coach, for me, it was 2 aspects. Number one, practices and training was always had to be harder than the games. Because if you could put them in the situation in practice and they got in that situation in the game, it would be secondary to them. So it was always something that they could handle at that point. Number 2, the Coach Cart sent an article from Baseball America. This just blew me away. From 2010 to 2019, 54% of all UCL surgeries, which is the Tommy John, the whole thing, were conducted on high school athletes 15 to 19 years old. 54%. So that's telling me one of 2 things. Either they weren't developed to be able to throw what they were throwing, or training was different. I mean, sure, some of it's going to be genetically. It happens. It's a fact of life. But 54%. And then, you have Tommy John surgery or UCL, you're done for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to build back up. And they have studies found out there that a pitcher who's had Tommy John surgery before 20 years old, probably the odds of them going and playing again and starring in college or even higher are less than half of what it normally would be for a person. So if you're saying 7% of the athletes make their college team, but you had Tommy John, you might have a 3% chance to make it. And then after that, it goes right to the training. Just what Coach Porter just said. Are you in it for the ring, or are you in it to get developed? Because you can go online and buy a ring and have it say whatever you want it to say, But training, these summer leagues and all that, develop yourself. Work yourself as hard as you can so that when you get in that tryout situation or you get in that game situation, there is nothing that you haven't seen before.
Does anybody ever ask people? I think you have to ask the question too when you think about this. Why is a particular kid or family doing this? Why? So I want to ask some of these. Okay, saw this thing. An 8-year-old's playing on 2 travel teams. 2. let's just say he's playing in 8 tournaments. What, 50 games? 50 games, 40 games at 8? So what's the question? Why are you doing this? That's the question. Why? Is it because you think that all those games are going to get this kid to the next level? Do you think that's what's going to develop them? Because I don't agree with that. I don't think that's what's going to develop them at all. Your practice opportunities are limited, right?
Yep.
Period. And okay, so is it because the kid loves it so much? At 8, do you know if you love 40 games a year?
Do you know the difference between 40 and 60 games a year?
Yeah, we've lost. We've lost the free play in the backyard, wiffle ball, getting out there, acting like you're, this player, right? Grabbing a ball and throwing it off the wall and catching it, hitting whatever crab apples in the backyard. And then you see it. These kids are like, I don't want to play this last tournament, and
They're wore out.
they're getting yelled at because they're being babies and all this stuff. You're like, okay, let's back up here. Right?
But you know what though? A lot of travel coaches, and Coach Carr, you're a travel coach. Coach Porter, you're a travel coach too, and I know how you guys do it. There's a lot of travel coaches out there that recruit just as hard as a college coach because they just want the best players and they want to go out there and have their record be 40-2.
Yeah.
They don't care what the player develops as or something. At that point, they just want the trophies. They
Coach
just
Porter,
want,
do you remember my Legion records?
No.
There's no way. Like there, I mean,
nor did I care as a college coach. Nor did I care. I thought it was great you're in the state tournament or you're whatever you did, but I'm like, nor did I care. Like, if you listen, people's taste buds change as they grow.
right.
Yeah.
That's a scientific fact.
Yep.
And out of those 7%ers that make it to the next level, I bet you 1 or 2% are just die hard, pedal to the metal baseball players like we were as kids. And who knows if I didn't get a break from baseball, but when we played, it was like, 15 games in the county tournament. And then the all-star team got to go to the college, the Little League World Series. Like, I cried after the championship game when I was 12 years old. A, because we lost, but B, because baseball was over.
Yeah.
But guess what? Come mid-October when junior high football was over, man, we were in the World Series. I couldn't wait.
Yep.
Now, and I think there's so many opportunities for these kids. I think they take it for granted too.
Mm-hmm.
I think they take it for granted because I'm just going to say, wait, you're upset with this? Timmy's dad's going to start a team, and they're going to be called the Black Magic Fusion, and they're going to wear
Right.
pink jerseys with black fangs on them, and we're going to do this, and you're just like, I respect the fact that there's people willing to help kids, but like Key Brian Hayes might be the best defender in baseball. His dad, Charlie, I got to talk to a lot with Charlie when Key Brian was young through mutual friends, and Charlie helped me recruit some kids from Houston. And I had some other kids on my team that played for Charlie. And this is, post-retirement. Charlie's dad's a big leaguer, like a 15-year big leaguer, like 1,000+ hit, 200 home run big leaguer. Mm-hmm. World Series champion, big leaguer, knows a lot about the game, more than I'll ever know. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know. Well, Charlie protected Key Brian his son,
Right.
right? And did what's right. And Charlie's other sons did. And Charlie made a lot of good points to me talking on the phone. But there's a reason why, yeah, genetically is Key Bryan. Absolutely. You know, I mean, it comes from a great gene pool, but he worked his tail off through practice to become that big of a defender, right? And obviously had a dad that knew what he was doing, that looked out for him, that gave other kids opportunities, because he used to tell me about it, and these younger players. And like, we need better, other sports to be able to coach at a certain level, you have to have a certification.
Right.
I think USA Baseball has some awesome stuff. If you look at it, they have some great stuff online. Maybe we need to educate, right? And a lot of times people don't listen. Nobody listen. Many a time, full transparency. If I could go in a room, talk to people, say, "Hey, I played college baseball. I coached college baseball for X amount of years. I've coached X amount of pro players. We've sent X amount." Right? And guess what? It was all my players. They worked really, really hard. Blah 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 blah. Right? I've also failed way more times than you ever know in this game, and I'm humbled by this game every day of my life. I promise you that. But if I had 10 dads and 10 moms in a room, the amount of people that wouldn't listen to me is way greater than the amount that would listen to me. And that's fact. And that's fact.
Well,
And
here's one. Think about back when we played travel and you went to these tournaments, most of the rules talked about the games and the weather. Nowadays, you go to these tournaments and there's a couple sentences about weather and there's 2 paragraphs about pitching rules. Because
if you're lucky,
What's
if
that?
you're lucky,
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
But these guys was going and using arms left and right and doing this and doing that. And, then you start on a Thursday and you go till a Monday. And I mean, look at college baseball now. You go to a tournament. I've been to many tournaments at the end of the season. The first thing that they start to say on Friday, they're starting to run out of pitching. This is college, who has 15, 16, 18 pitchers on the roster. They're starting to run out of pitching. What does that mean for a travel organization?
don't play 9 games in 4 days on the weekend.
There you go.
The game wasn't meant to be played like that, people.
No.
They don't do it in the big leagues. They don't do it in college. Do they? They're not going to do it in the World Baseball Classic. Even in a college regional, 2 games in a day. And that's when you're fighting out of the loser's bracket.
Right.
In a few exceptions, I have seen in a weird weather situation in the NCAA at the D2 or D3 level, a 3-game in a day deal. Because they had.
Yeah, I've never seen a 3.
I've seen that. Lincoln Memorial won 3 in a day to win the SAC the 1 year, but few and far between.
Right.
Few and far between. The game's not supposed to be played like that. I'm telling you right now, and there'll be naysayers all over the place. American Legion's got it right with the pitch count and the pitching rules. I'm telling you right now, 110, right, or 105, okay, and X amount of days of rest, blah 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 blah.
They follow pitch smart. I mean,
and it's right.
Yeah.
And you're not burning people out, and you've got to forfeit. And the other part of it is this. And you guys played American Legion baseball. How about before an American Legion tournament game? How about the character development piece that American Legion brings to kids?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? You stay out there and you have to read you have to repeat after me, right? Promise to take care of my blah, 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 blah. You have to stamp, you have to do this, you have to do this. You have people in uniform, coaches in uniform, right?
Well,
listen,
even today, Chad, even today, the summer collegiate teams, those college coaches will call that summer coach and say, look, I don't want him going over 3 innings in a game and this and that. They'll set parameters for their players because they know
Oh, yeah.
that they're going to get overworked.
Yeah.
And if a coach goes over that, I've seen guys mid-season get pulled. You're done with summer ball.
Hey, Abdel Rivera, for me in 2013, pitched in the Valley League. And he threw like 95 innings in the regular season in Texas. Now, granted, that's January 30th, 31st through, the beginning of May. So do the
Right.
math. He threw 1 day a week for me the whole season, pitched 1 day. We didn't throw him in relief midweek, blah, blah, blah. He was Friday, game 1 or game 2, right? Every week. He gets there, right? He gets the summer ball, and it's like, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like 30 innings, 40 innings, whatever. He was an all-star in the Valley League. Comes back. Listen, I shut him down till November 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
He did all the strength and conditioning. He did all the team defense. He did all the PFPs. He did everything in practice except and then on November 1, so he had 4 weeks in November, 4 weeks in December, 4 weeks in January. Okay. After, coming, it might have been mid-October we started him back up, but he was shut down from his last pitch in the Valley League till I don't know what it was. It's somewhere in the right, that's been a decade ago. But my point is, we tried to, protect him
Correct.
and all the guys, so I don't know.
It's going to get, the unfortunate situation is that it's probably going to get worse, right? At the youth level, maybe not at the collegiate level, but at the youth level, it's definitely going to get worse just because there's a lot of conversations about private equity firms that are now creeping into youth baseball, that are driving these tournaments and the money and the profitability. And so, what do all shareholders and stakeholders want? They all want more money. They all want more profitability, right? And so now
they don't care about the weather. They don't care about anything. They just want to be able to
Yep.
make more.
Yep. And
Okay.
so,
Okay. To be, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. How about all these private people that then, okay, we're going to make some money. I get it. All right. That's fair enough. But run it the right way. Do it the right way. Okay. Do things right. If you want to make money, right, and you really care about the kid, which you should, because it's about them, and I guess it's about you too because you're making money, run the tournament right and really care about the kids. You can't do back-to-back appearances. You can only pitch seriously.
I think that's the difference. I
Correct.
don't know that they entirely care about the kid. I think they care about making the money.
And some are out there, and you're correct on that. Others are doing it right, but there's not enough.
Yeah. I can tell you right now there are far less tournaments I go to and that we participated in that believe in pitch smart than the majority. That there are way less tournaments that are going to pitch count. And Coach, you're right. I mean, the Legion, they've dug their heels in. Like they've done that the right way. I wish that the numbers from a Legion perspective would increase. But
I played Legion ball. I thought
Yeah.
it was
Are you
great.
talking about participation?
Yes.
Or pitch count?
Participation.
Yeah, and it's
Pitch
one
count's
and
right.
it's
Pitch count's
from
right.
yeah, from and I want to say this. Like I've been to some really good travel ball stuff. There's some really good travel ball stuff going on. There really is, okay? It's not it, but like from a developmental standpoint, if you went to any coach or person and said, "Listen, here's this model, your travel tournament model. You're going to play 6 of these a year and all you're going to do is play Friday, Saturday, Sunday." Or from a development model, you're going to play Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. 1 game Tuesday, 1 game Wednesday. Okay. Saturday, Sunday. And you can mix in some. So you tell me from a consistency in player development.
Yep.
Let's talk about player development. You talk about consistency in at bats, consistency in throwing, not taking 4 days off and showing up somewhere and playing. Okay. And moving your body and getting consistent at bats, during the week. Tell me from a developmental standpoint, which model jives better with consistency and what you're trying to do as a player. And it also mimics what you do in high school. It also mimics what you do in college. And to a certain extent, it mimics what you do in pro ball.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Now, we went away from it, and I get it and all this stuff. There's some great things going on in travel baseball and all that stuff. And honestly, Zach and I talked about this the other day. The really, really, really good Legion teams are leaving those roster spots open for guys from really good travel ball orgs to come and play in the tournament, because it's 19U. You can pull a kid back from college summer ball in the middle of the summer. Now, there's a rule in July, June, whatever, you got to have it right. But I mean, happens all the time. We see college guys all the time later on in the summer.
Which that pulls us all the way back around to the initial question, right? Is it winning or development?
Correct.
Right. Where's the weight? Right. If I'm leaving 3 roster spots open at the end of the season to pull guys from a travel roster that's been going all over the country for the entire summer, what am I trying to do at the end of the season? Obviously, you're trying to win, right? Are we necessarily thinking about hey, this kid's thrown 50 innings, 60 innings this summer? Is that what's best for him? I mean, right? I mean, and the good thing about that is that it's protected because of the Legion pitching construction, right? The structure, right? But that ties it all the
So
way.
you're also okay. So you're also, though, I agree. You're also, though, dealing with 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids.
Commitment
not 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I said was the winning piece goes up as you age.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But every summer program, even in college, should be about development.
Right.
You go play in the Northwoods League to get developed and to get seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm a good player, I'm going to, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the owners of those teams want to win because their admission and sales. And here's the thing. There's just such a fine line, because you don't want to, you're trying to develop players to get better. But I want you to think about it like this. You're trying to develop players to get better, right?
Yeah.
But those players are ultimately going to be a part of a team. And that team's goal is to win every time they're on the field.
Yeah.
So you got to think of it that way, because even though it's player development and you're trying to get a kid's exit velo and arm speed and foot speed and defensive fundamentals better, they're not on the field by themselves. They're putting a lineup to win the game.
Right.
Now, is the emphasis on winning at each level, I think changes as you go. And once again, I think it can be coached, and I think it can be talked about in a certain way. I think you can be like, look, you either win or you learn. That's a great piece. You either win or you learn.
And we talked about that. Yeah.
That's right. Now, when you're 20 years old and you're playing in a conference championship game, you either win or you lose. I don't care what anybody says. I'll walk away and learn from it and go, geez, that sucks when you lose, right? So I think there's but I think abusing a player, whether you know it or not, mentally or physically, to try to get a group of 8-year-olds to win or 9-year-olds to win when 3 of them end up playing high school baseball because they're burned out, is completely wrong.
Yep.
I think it's all in how you deliver the message to the kid.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's all in your communication and what you emphasize, right? You say this all the time. What you emphasize, right? You promote and you do all that, and kids take that. So it's just like, I think that there's a right. I think the better way to answer this is this. There's a right way and a wrong way.
Yeah.
And the right way is developing the human being through the game of baseball.
Yeah.
Using baseball, every coach in the country should use baseball as a vehicle to develop young men or young women.
Mhm.
End of discussion, right?
Agreed.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. This game teaches a lot, and you can teach a lot from wins and losses. And you either win or you learn. And you know, like I said, at the end of the day, all these guys are going to these facilities and getting readouts on TrackMan and Rapsodo and all this stuff to be better. But they're part of the team, right? They're
Mhm.
not. You're not winning championships hitting off a pitching machine, right?
No, you're definitely
Okay, so there's a fine line. It's all in how, and I think it's got to be. I think the message about winning has to be age and developmentally appropriate. Seriously.
And you want proof that it's the case in this article that Zach sent. The average age of a Division I college baseball player in 2022 was 20 years old. 20 years old.
it's gotten worse.
In 2024, it's 22.
Yeah.
So you better develop somewhere, because the portal and everything else is making the non-developed players a non-entity.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that goes along with this, and we can certainly talk about this another time. You're talking about travel. We haven't even talked about cost.
Oh no. Yeah.
Some of these it costs you $2,000 to have your kid on a team. Then you're playing tournaments every weekend, hotel stays, meals, this.
Family stressors.
Yes.
Look at the studies on family dynamics and travel. So I did the whole travel volleyball and basketball circuit. So I get it, right?
Yeah.
With my kids.
Yeah.
I get it. Right. And we've had to make decisions as a family that, looking back, you're like, man, should we have done that?
Yeah.
Seriously. Should we have missed this to go to this? Right?
And
everybody struggled.
How much we spent on hotels?
We can spend a whole additional. We'll talk about that next Sunday.
Yes, I think that's what we save that for, because that's a whole nother animal in itself.
Yeah, and so kind of I'll close our other topic here, in a rule of thumb that I have used for a while from a travel ball manager perspective, and this is what I've always advised our other coaches and anyone else, is if you're a travel club, it's great if you're over 500. But if you're right around 500 from a travel baseball standpoint, then you're probably right where you need to be from a competition perspective.
Yep.
If you're above 500, like you run in that 750, 800 range, next year, if you retain a lot of the same team, you probably need to shop some tougher competition. If you're all the way up in that 950 range, then you're playing rec tournaments. Kind of let's move it up, right? Like let's go play.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Right? Yep.
So those are kind of, as a manager, or as a general manager of teams and what you look for as you balance that winning and development. Those are just a few rules of thumb.
Yeah, I mean, take this topic out there, guys, and we'll have this on X tonight. But DM us with your comments. Give us your opinion. Give us your ideas. You can go to aheadaccountrecruiting.com and send us an email as well, and just tell us what your opinion. We're open to all opinions. This is three coaches with a ton of coaching experience, seeing how it's going and reading the articles of average age is changing and this changing and that changing. It just astounds me. Over 50% of the surgeries for Tommy John are high school kids. It's just a baffling thing. But if you have an opinion on it one way or the other, let us know. You can comment on X and let us know. Well, we'll get into the cost of this stuff next time, because I'll try to dig out what it cost when my son was doing travel. I wish I had bought a motorhome back then. That would have been really cool, But we'll get into that next week, next Sunday. But thanks for tuning in tonight. And again, send us your questions. You want some help with your recruiting, fill out that questionnaire. We will help you for free to evaluate you up and let you know where you're starting at. No charge, no cost, no bugging in, no nothing. And we'll go from there. But till next week, from Coach Porter and Coach Cart and myself, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.